Sasha Banks was the star WWE never fully believed in, but Mercedes Moné became the star wrestling couldn't ignore. Step into my ring, let's talk about the boss and the CEO. When I say Sasha Banks, I'm talking about the character who came into NXT with a chip on her shoulder the size of Brooklyn. She wasn't supposed to be the face of women's wrestling. She was too small, too flashy, too much. But Sasha made herself undeniable by creating the boss. Inspired by her cousin Snoop D-O-G-G and hip-hop swag, she leaned into arrogance, jewelry, and attitude. She walked out draped in chains and glasses like she already had the crown, even before WWE gave her anything. Sasha didn't just look like a star, she wrestled like one. In NXT, the matches told a whole different story. The turning point? Her feud with Bayley. This wasn't just wrestling, this was cinema. Takeover Brooklyn in 2015 is still talked about as one of the greatest women's matches of all time. Sasha dragged Bayley by the hand, mocked her innocence, stomped on her dreams, and then cried when it was all over. Because even in victory or defeat, Sasha poured her soul into every match. That's what makes her different. Sasha had the ability to make every opponent feel larger than life. Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, when they stepped in the ring with her, it wasn't just a contest, it was a story. The crowd chants for Sasha were deafening. She was the heartbeat of the NXT Women's Revolution. But then came the main roster. This is where Sasha's story turned into something more tragic. Her first Women's Championship win came in July 2016 against Charlotte Flair. The fans erupted, people cried, it felt like justice. But 3 weeks later, the title, the reaction shots, the viral clips, the tears in the ring, but they never trusted her to carry the division. Compare that to Charlotte, whose reigns stretched for months, or Becky, who became the man and held the belt for a year. Sasha was always the exclamation point, never the sentence. And the toll was real. You could see it in her eyes after matches, the frustration, the exhaustion. Fans started to notice too. Enjoy it now, because by the end of the month, it'll be gone. Sasha Banks represents every woman who had to work twice as hard to get half the recognition. She was the woman who could outperform everyone in the room, but still be told she wasn't the one. And that's why the fans connected with her so deeply. Mercedes Moné's story begins with a moment that shook WWE to its core. The walkout. It was May 22. Sasha Banks and Naomi were the women's tag team champions, but behind the scenes, frustration had been brewing for months. The division was in shambles, the belts were treated like afterthoughts, and creative had no real plans for the women holding them. Sasha and Naomi were supposed to take a loss to Bianca Belair and Ronda Rousey, two single champions who weren't even a tag team. Making moments for WWE, gone. Sasha disappeared, Mercedes was being born. For months, rumors swirled. AEW, Hollywood, retirement. Everyone had an opinion, but no one knew the truth. And then, January 2023, the Tokyo Dome, Wrestle Kingdom 17, and out walked a brand new woman. Hair flowing, gear sparkling, confidence radiating. She was no longer the boss, she was Mercedes Moné. Her entrance said it all. She wore a crown and a swag that screamed independence. It wasn't just a debut, it was a rebirth. Mercedes didn't just show up in Japan, she showed up with a new statement. She attacked Kairi, laying down a challenge for the IWGP Women's Championship. The match went down in February 2023 at Battle in the Valley in Cali. The energy in that building was electric. This wasn't just another match. It was Sasha Banks stepping into a new world to prove she wasn't just a WWE star. She was a wrestling star. and the match delivered. Mercedes and Kyrie tore it up when Mercedes won the IWGP Women's Championship. For the first time, she wasn't a moment, she was the moment. Then came Mayu Iwatani, the icon of Stardom, the ace of women's wrestling in Japan. This was a dream match, a clash of styles, a test of whether Mercedes could hang with the absolute best outside of WWE's system. She did. She lost, but in losing, she gained credibility. Fans who doubted her learned Mercedes wasn't a tourist in Japan. She belonged. The CEO, it's not a gimmick. It's about ownership. She was the chief executive officer of herself. No scripts, no producers telling her what to say, no company deciding her worth. Social media lit up with praise for her courage. Hashtags like CEO and hashtag Money Moné trended worldwide. Of course, not everyone was on board. You always gonna have some haters, but whatever. Her New Japan run was short, but it didn't need to be long. Mercedes Moné wasn't just Sasha Banks outside of WWE. She was bigger, bolder, freer. She had built herself into a brand. And here's the part that people don't want to admit. Mercedes Moné pulled off something we've almost never seen in wrestling, especially as a woman. She walked out of WWE, the so-called biggest company in the world, and she didn't vanish. She didn't fade into obscurity. She made herself even bigger. When AEW came calling, the buzz was insane. She became the highest paid woman in wrestling history, a deal that for years people thought was impossible outside of WWE. She proved the system wrong. She proved the glass ceiling wasn't just crackable, it was breakable. And along the way, she collected belts like jewelry. IWGP Women's Championship, Strong Women's Championship, now AEW Gold. Mercedes didn't just chase opportunities, she created them. Say what you want to say about Mercedes Moné. Her attitude, her choices, whether you love her or can't stand her, the truth is simple. She did that. And that's why Mercedes Moné matters. Not just as Sasha Banks, the boss who helped redefine WWE's women's wrestling, but as Mercedes, the CEO who redefined freedom in wrestling. So the question isn't who was the real boss. The question is, what will Mercedes Moné do next? Because if she could walk out of WWE, rebuild herself from the ground up, and make money on her own terms, then the sky isn't even the limit anymore. It's just the starting line. And with that, gorgeous gang, if you gang, like, comment, and subscribe.